It's a place where you can step back in time, a place that will open your eyes to some beautiful architecture, and a place where you can sit down, open up a good book, and go anywhere you want to go. Well, of course, by now you've figured out it's a library, but not just any library, because the very historic West Avenue Library has been serving and enriching this community for more than 80 years.
I've always said that this is probably one of the sturdiest buildings that the city owns. It's stood for 80 years and it'll probably stand for at least another 80 more. It's an impressive building, but at the same time a comfortable building. It doesn't overwhelm you with its institutionality. It is in many ways, a very homey building. In fact, we do have some people who come in the building and ask if it was originally a home, which I always enjoy answering because, in fact, it was the first purpose-built library in the city of Newport News. So it has been a library from day one, October 14th, 1929, so that, it was really a major commitment on the part of the city of Newport News to libraries in its day. And the fact that it's still here and that the library system has grown so much since shows the ongoing commitment to library services in this city. Well, it's always been interesting to me. My grandfather was an architect, so to see an example of some really beautiful architecture every day is really quite a treat. There's always something new that catches the eye. We have very interesting tile work in the lobby. If you look down on the floor, you'll discover all sorts of artwork right as you walk in the building on the floor there. The fire doors were a big surprise to me. We have an old fire suppression system which involves doors that will actually slam shut. In the basement we have what certainly looks like a bank vault that is officially designated as a fallout shelter. Probably be about one of the safest places to be in event of tornado or what have you. The moldings around the building are quite lovely. The high windows, the shelving is fascinating with the going all the way down to the basement. They don't build them like that anymore. The mural, which is now 50 years old, was painted originally for the Jamestown 350th anniversary. One of the interesting points about that is that it's not truly a mural. Technically, a mural has to be painted directly on the wall. What we call the mural is actually painted on canvas stretchers and installed above the desk. So while it certainly gives the appearance of being a mural, it is not technically a mural. So it's just a lot of fun to be surrounded by a really beautiful building.
There's a peacefulness, I guess, in a way, about this style of architecture that sort of symbolizes the educational role that libraries have played in communities all through the ages that we've had them. They are typically quieter, but at the same time noisier, because I don't know if you can hear the slight echo because the ceilings are so high in this building, but it adds a flavor and a character to the building, and I think sort of rubs off on some of our patrons and I think is reflected in how they use the library. A lot of people talk about the role of libraries changing so much, but it really, if you look at it, it fundamentally has not really. Libraries have always been places where people gather together. Libraries have always been the place where people come for information. How we provide that information is what's changed, and it's actually much more complex and much more challenging. So I think the library is even more critical now in helping with the information needs. You can have all the web browsers in the world. You can have, I think Bing.com is a new one, the decision-making search engine. But if you don't know how to use it and you don't know how to evaluate that information, it really sort of doesn't help a whole lot. And that's what libraries are there for. We're sort of guides to how you use that information and how to evaluate the information that we have available. And then we still serve the traditional role of being a place for people to come together, gather together, talk about a book, talk about a film, talk about what's happening in your community. And we're that safe place in the neighborhood. And celebrating 80 years of consecutive service to the community.